I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Welcome back to the Quarter Mile Podcast. Thank you all so much for joining us. We're in a very special bonus episode for you all. We just wrapped up our season 2, and it's kind of like the animes you watch, if you watch anime and are cool, where like there's a mainline story, but then you get into a side episode or two. Gavin Eddings is in the house. Gavin has a wonderful podcast. He might tell us a little bit about it when we get him a chance to intro. I was on it once, and I just also want to say that Gavin has been a source of inspiration for me for podcasting. A safe space to ask dumb podcast questions, or just guy who's podcasting and be like, hey, is it weird that I feel like nobody listens to me or watches me or knows I exist in the podcast world? And he'll be like, yeah, it's normal.
I'm so proud of you. Like, one thing you do very well about your podcast is like you do video. And myself and my co-host Brent Tierhune, we don't do video because we're lazy. So that's kind of where we are with that. But you're always pushing the socials, doing the Instagram, the TikToks, showing your face off to the world with those viral clips. And I'm like, I'll share it on Blue Sky once. And
yeah, absolutely.
Be enough,
the
right?
4 people that are on Blue Sky will love it. So.
There are dozens of us.
I created Blue Sky because I liked it when it came out, and then it just seemed exhausting. I think if you find me on Blue Sky, I have like 3 posts, and then I was just like, I'm not doing another one of these. Like, I'm not doing another social media. I do like the video, and I like it for the reels, and that's fun connecting with people. I do not. I've gotten very lazy on my YouTube videos. The first few, I mean, we were adding clips, we were adding dialogue, we were adding like effects. Now it's like it's just us talking. It's just watching us do the podcast. And I don't think that's going to change because it's literally saves 3 or 4 hours of my life. So, I should say this before we give Gavin a chance to introduce himself. This is a special episode where we are doing a deep dive on the one and only Mark Wahlberg. This is not too long after we've recorded the Italian Job episode, which was a reminder to me that Mark Wahlberg's awesome. And in talking to Gavin, we wanted to get him on the podcast, and he said, "Let's do a deep dive of Mark Wahlberg." So that's where we're heading. That's what you're listening to. But before we get before you do a deep dive of Mark, let's dive deep into Gavin. Who is Gavin? Tell us about yourself. Tell us about your podcast if you want, and also, most importantly, tell us about your relationship with the Fast and Furious.
All right, so my name is Gavin Eddings. I've been doing stand-up comedy now for going on 17 years, which means I should be way more famous than I am. And
feel that.
I have a horror movie YouTube channel called Gavin Loves Horror. And then the most successful thing that I do is a podcast I do with Brent Tierhune, a very, very funny comedian out of Indianapolis. And he's one of my best friends. We do a podcast called They're Coming to Get You. It's a horror movie podcast. We do a horror movie every week. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/They're Coming to Get You. And it's just a lot of fun. We make fun of horror movies, but we also like review them and talk about them. We make a lot of jokes. It's very off color, if you will. It's never really like offensive, but it's more sweary than this Christian clean Quarter Mile podcast that I was like, come on, swear.
We've cussed a few times, but it's weird when I think about my friends' kids who also listen to this podcast. I'm like, the former youth pastor in me just can't. But I always let my guests know, you can just be authentic. I don't care. You can say whatever you fucking want on this podcast, Gavin.
Okay, good. Well, listen, I've been looking up a fucking Boston accent all fucking day so I can do an authentic Mark fucking Wahlberg. I'm not a fucking cop.
You're literally the second person on this podcast to do, third if you count CJ, to do a Boston accent on Mark Wahlberg's honor.
It's what we do. I was on like 20 minutes before I hopped on this call. I was like, how to do a Boston accent. And I learned like, if you're wicked smart, you got to get a sticker. If you park your car at Boston, if you're wicked smart, you'll get a sticker. If you park your car at Harvard Yard, you got to get towed. So I kept practicing that over and over. So I hope any Bostonians out there are like, is that Tom Brady on the podcast?
It was pretty convincing.
Oh
I'm starting to think that this is your fake voice and that was your real voice.
I'm so authentically Boston right now. I did watch the Departed in preparation for this because I needed an excuse to watch the Departed again. So yeah, I am very excited to talk all things Mark Wahlberg because he's got what a tapestry of cinema he has woven for us. Yeah. Now, the most important question you asked me, again, they're coming to get you. It's a podcast. We're on Spotify, Apple, wherever you can find your podcast, whatever. But it's very fun. I think you'll very much enjoy it. You were on an episode. We did the Last Exorcism, playing up your
that was a fun movie to watch. Fun. I don't normally get into horror movies, but it was fun and weird, and I enjoyed being on your podcast. That was really cool. I for sure will link your podcast in the episode notes, and I'll probably go find the one I was on and link that on as well.
My link to the Fast and Furious franchise is I love it. I love it so much. I have never seen Fast X. It just came out. It got delayed during the pandemic, and then I just never went to go see it. It's been on my list forever. Just never got around to seeing it. But I love these movies. My favorite Fast and the Furious movie, I'm a little bit of a basic B. I like Fast Five the best, which is it's got The Rock in his first. It's got that bank chase with the vault. It's got just everybody coming together, which you talked about on your Italian Job episode about how like parts of Fast Five may have been like parts of the Italian Job too.
I believe it. Some people think it's a little conspiracy theory-ish, but we don't ever see a chase scene in Fast and Furious as amazing as that bank vault scene. 1 year.
For Memorial Day back in 2016, I had a Fast and the Furious themed cookout for Memorial Day.
That's awesome.
Where we all wore the wife beaters. We all had the chains, drinking Coronas.
Do you have pictures of Coronas? This instance that I feel like
I don't think there's any pictures. I think there may have been, but that friend group kind of splintered off and broke up, much like Paul Walker and Vin Diesel driving away at the end. And much like that, they're dead to me.
Oof.
So
sorry.
No, but it was a good time. But sometimes family isn't forever. Yeah, we had a Fast and the Furious themed Memorial Day cookout where we actually watched outside on a projector first Fast and the Furious movie. Yeah, and that movie, it's such a classic, man. They're stealing DVD players. So, yeah, I love Fast and Furious. It's just the most ridiculous. I thought they were done after Tokyo Drift. Like, I thought, like, Chad, are we cooked? I thought they were cooked after Tokyo Drift. But then you had that post-credit scenes with Vin Diesel rolling up. And just, it wasn't a post-credit scene. It was just before the credit scene. I know people are yelling at their radios right now, their boom boxes.
Comments are flying in as we speak. They're raging. But that was a smart marketing employee for Vin Diesel that ended up saving Fast and Furious and kind of the Chronicles of Riddick, but that didn't really pan out for him. So, but that kind of solidified him in Fast and Furious culture. He said, "Sure, I'll do that." Look, because no one thought it was the Tokyo Drift people didn't think it was going to go past that, but they're like, "Let's just for fun throw in a little nod." And they said, "Vin, will you come do this?" And then he was like, "Yeah, but only if you let me be a director and producer and for both the Fast and Furious and the Chronicles of Riddick, the Pitch Black, whatever, Pitch Perfect, whatever the series is."
Yeah. Pitch Perfect. Yes, it was. Yes, it goes Pitch Black, Pitch Perfect, Chronicles of Riddick, then Riddick. The second one, Pitch Perfect, has very little to do with the other series. He joins an a cappella group. It's very Anna Kendrick is there, but you can almost skip that one. But there is some deep Riddick lore about why he wears the goggles in that one. In between Ben Platt singing that you really missed out on if you don't watch.
That's what everyone knows that. I mean, that's like so common knowledge. Duh.
Yeah. Yes, that's how there was. Oh God, that's a good joke, Drew. That's why you are the cleanest comedian in Nashville. I did not say the
I'll
best
take it.
comedian. I said the
I'll
cleanest.
take as
So,
any kind of. At least I'm number one in something. So, today we are talking. We're doing a deep dive on Mark Wahlberg. Let's get
yeah,
into it. First of all, if you had to pick a tier one favorite Mark Wahlberg experience movie, what would it be for you?
it's gotta be the Departed. It's my favorite Martin Scorsese movie. It's my favorite Mark Wahlberg movie. Probably my favorite Matt Damon movie. Maybe just an all around great movie. It is just peak. It's a cops and robbers type style movie. If you've never seen it, it's got a great twist. It's very intense. Jack Nicholson, Matt Damon,
What a
Leonardo
cast.
DiCaprio. Leo should have
Yeah.
got an Oscar for that one. Yeah, great cast. Martin Sheen.
I
I
forgot
think
about him.
Charlie
I
Sheen's
forgot he was in
dad.
that.
Yeah, yeah. It's just such a great movie, and Mark Wahlberg really shows that it's just Mark Wahlberg. He's just playing himself. He's like, you fucking asshole, like just letting everything fly, calling him everything in the book, and he's like the one character who actually like cares about keeping this guy's cover and like the trying to find the
Yeah.
rat. And they've tried to make Mark Wahlberg into the action
Yeah.
star. A great movie that I love. I love Shooter. Have you seen Shooter?
Yes, that is a fantastic movie.
If you want to see a movie where Mark Wahlberg just uses a sniper rifle to shoot people in the head for 90 minutes, American Sniper, move over. I don't care about Chris Kyle. I care about Mark Wahlberg shooting people in the head. That is a great movie. It is the most American thing I can think of. He's a retired sniper who has to come out of retirement after somebody frames him for a murder. And it's just, I love Shooter.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah, it's not what a lot of people talk about as far as like action movies, but you put that on like a Saturday afternoon. That's when your dad can really fall asleep to.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good. I feel like that's a good 4th of July movie. Like that's,
Yeah, you invite the friends over for a barbecue. Like, look, put
Yeah.
on Shooter. For a long time, Mark Wahlberg had said like this is around the time Max Payne came out.
Another good
On the
one.
Max Payne press tour, I watched this video. I like these Australian guys called Mr. Sunday Movies, and they have a podcast called The Weekly Planet, and they did this thing about Max Payne. And during the entire Max Payne press tour, he kept saying, "I've never done a sequel. I've never done a sequel." And then he eventually did do sequels, but up until that point, he had never done like any sequels to any of his movies. So he has done them now with like the
Yeah.
Transformers movies and like Daddy's Home and Ted and things like that.
Oh, Ted's
But yeah,
a good one too.
yeah, as far as showing his comedic chops. But yeah, so Shooter did not get a sequel. Max Payne, which is a classic video game from Rockstar Games, the same people that
yeah.
make Grand Theft Auto. That is not a very good Mark Wahlberg movie because it just loses all of the grittiness of the game because Mark Wahlberg's kind of too pretty to play Max Payne. He's just not
Right.
really. He's not hard. I think of like a Mickey Rourke as a Max Payne, not pretty boy Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. Yeah, he could. That was a fun movie, but you're right. In hindsight, like his character for it wasn't exactly what you think about. But I think when I watched it, I still enjoyed it. I was still they still sucked me in with the universe.
Yeah, and I think they wanted a sequel to it, but it just didn't make enough money. It really bombed at the box office. It alienated fans of the game because they gave it a PG-13 rating to try to make it appeal to more of the audience, but instead
That's just what you want in like a Hitman shooter game is a PG-13 rating.
in a hard, mature rated video game, I want it sanitized down to a PG-13, a bloodless PG-13. So yeah, it was a real bummer on that. Let's talk about Cade Yeager for a second. Are you familiar with Cade Yeager?
I am not.
Cade Yeager, well, that's the man that Mark Wahlberg plays in Transformers, Age of Extinction, and The Last Night.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yes, I am familiar with it. I just didn't know his name. I was too busy looking at the really cool robots and big fight scenes and CGI awesomeness.
And see, that's where you went wrong because you should have been looking at Mark Wahlberg.
Of course.
Our wonderful Mark Wahlberg the whole time. Where in this, he's an inventor who is bad at inventing things. And at one point, he kills a man by throwing a football at him, which is... Mark Wahlberg is the American's American. He's shooting you with a sniper rifle. He'll throw a football at you. He could kill you with an apple pie. That's how American Mark Wahlberg is.
And he would have a catchy thing to say, like...
Be like, take your Chevy to the levee, but the levee is dry.
Yeah. Word to your mother.
Wood to your mother. Wood to your ma. Yep. Is what he'd say. Age of Extinction is a terrible movie. I remember going to see that in theaters and being like, this is way too long. This is a long-ass movie. And I no longer care about robots that turn into cars and or men. I don't care. So in Age of Extinction, he is just a regular dad inventor who finds a transformer. He's like, which one of the best lines, he goes, I think we got a transformer. Which just hearing transformer in the Boston accent, it's great. It's like, Optimus, come over here. We gotta go to Fenway. We gotta go to Fenway and go watch the fucking Bo Sox play. I kind of lost.
Get some Dunkin' Donuts while you're at it.
Let's go get some Dunkin' Optimus. Let's go. There's a scene where Mark Wahlberg is chastising his daughter's boyfriend because he's 20 and she's 17, and
I remember that scene.
Yeah, and he's like, this feels wrong. Like, what are you doing? And the boyfriend pulls out like the statute of consent for Romeo and Juliet laws out of his wallet, like it's his insurance card. Like, I don't think anybody who is doing
biggest red flag.
Nobody who has good intentions with your daughter is carrying around consent statutes in their wallet as if it is a photo of a beloved niece or nephew.
Right. And I think in that movie, if I'm not mistaken, he was just like, oh, okay, well, never mind then.
He's like, cool. He's like, well, you have the paperwork, so I guess it's going to be okay now.
He's a real paperwork dad. Just as long as everything's by the book.
And now let's go back and let's talk about his early career.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because there's two movies that really come to mind that people are probably already yelling at their stereos that they stole from the back of a moving truck in some sort of car heist.
Absolutely.
That is
combo, DVD VCR combo.
They're playing this. They burned it to a CD. They're listening in their combo DVD VCR. I do want to talk though because he's also a well-known producer. Mark Wahlberg is.
Really?
He produced the show Ballers on HBO.
That's a good show.
Yeah, he's also produced. You know how we talk about like crypto bros now and kind of like toxic masculinity.
Yeah, with nothing but favoritism.
Yeah, and we're trying to make progress in trying to squash misogyny. But did you know that we have Mark Wahlberg to thank for some misogyny?
That doesn't surprise me. Like,
okay.
What misogyny do we have to thank him for?
He was one of the main producers for the HBO show Entourage.
I didn't know that either. I like that show, but I also can credit it where it needs credit from.
Have you tried watching it recently, Drew?
No, I gotta say I have not. When it lost its effect,
they should all be in jail. It's all basically, they're all basically sex criminals is what Entourage is. It's just guys using fame to get laid and sometimes very in questionable ways. So if you're like, who's to blame for Entourage? It is Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. But I think his breakout role and just an all-around great film in general that we'll get to in just a moment. Gotta tease the audience, Drew.
Of course,
Gotta tease. They're all waiting. They're like, when are they gonna talk about that movie where he's got the huge dong? When are they gonna talk about the Nights That Boogie? In a moment, my babies, in a moment. But there's one movie that I saw back in 2009. It's from the 90s, one of Mark Wahlberg's earlier roles, and it is the film called Fear. Fear. It stars Mark Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon. Are you familiar with Fear?
I'm not, but I like Reese Witherspoon and most of Mark Wahlberg's.
Okay. So it is about Mark Wahlberg is the perfect boyfriend. Absolutely perfect.
Is this is it like the domestic, like he ends up being a crazy person and breaking her down and being crazy, or am I thinking of a different movie?
That's Fear.
Okay, then yes, I've seen Fear.
Yeah. Where he won't let her go. At one point, he cuts his chest and then rubs an ink pen into his chest and tattoos himself with that, which I didn't know you could just cut yourself and grab a Bic.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And tattoo yourself like that, which is, I learned something. But the scene, much like the Romeo and Juliet scene in Transformers Age of Extinction, I remember Fear for exactly one scene. And if you are one of Drew's former youth pastor, one of former youthies, and you still want to go to heaven, earmuffs. Because there's one scene in Fear that everybody talks about, and that is Mark Wahlberg fingers Reese Witherspoon on a roller coaster.
I have forgotten that this movie was Fear. And this is such a side note, but my mom is a huge Reese Witherspoon fan. And at one point years ago, I was like, there's that movie where like she gets fingered by someone. I don't really remember what movie it is or whatever. And she's like, Reese would never. You must be thinking of a different. And I know I wasn't. And now I'm going to go show the clip to her next Thanksgiving.
It was Fear. It was Fear. What's the name of that actress? Reese. What's her last name?
Witherspoon, the one we were just talking about.
Oh no, I messed the joke up. Damn it. The joke. Hold on. The joke goes. Reese said, "This is how stand up goes sometimes." It goes. Did you hear about that actress that killed her husband? Reese.
What's her name?
Yeah.
What's her name? No, with a fork.
Yeah, there you go. This will be edited out of my. I need you to edit that out, Drew. Edit out my, or keep it in. Actually, it's funnier that way. Be like, what is he doing? Why is he doing bits on the show?
That's what we do. This is the Drew and Friends podcast. We do literally whatever we want, as long as you're Drew or a friend.
Yeah,
we live our lives a quarter mile at a time.
I love Fear because it is just. I'm a big roller coaster guy. I love roller coasters. I love them. I love dating women. I love intimacy. I've never thought about combining my love of women and roller coasters at the same time. I'm too scared. Also, if your hands.
Thank you, Mark Wahlberg, for that. Like now we know we can. That was something he gave us.
We all know the proper roller coaster etiquette is to have your hands above your head. And if they're down her pants, they can't be above your head.
Yeah. That's the wrong kind of rush, honestly, for a roller coaster.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of and then I don't want to go too far, but what if you desensitize her and then she can only orgasm on a roller coaster? You're like, baby, if you want to please me, we got to go on Space Mountain like 15 more times.
Yeah, that's the sequel to Fear.
I love making Drew slightly uncomfortable. He's like, oh God, why'd I have this guy on? And that's the kind of content you can get on They're Coming to Get You.
Yeah, coming is spelled incorrectly in the podcast, just so you know. It's all about what you can and cannot do on a roller coaster.
It's very much a roller coaster safety guide. Now, I had to really go from like third base to going to home base, because let's talk Mark Wahlberg's breakout role, one of his best roles, one of his most iconic roles as Dirk Diggler in Boogie Nights.
Oh, literally the best.
Have you seen Boogie Nights?
No, but I just wanted to be supportive.
God, you need to see Boogie Nights. It's just a good movie. It's a Paul W. Anderson movie, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, it's Paul Thomas Anderson. Paul W. Anderson did the Resident Evil movies. I get them mixed up. They're very different directors. Boogie Nights, it's great. It tells the story of the rise of a porn star named Dirk Diggler. He's got one of the biggest units in there. And it's just Mark Wahlberg trying his best, getting his way through porn. And by the end, he's like, just at the end, you see it. It is massive. And he just the way he transforms that role, we joke. It's a very wonderful part. And it's such a great movie. And people want to joke about Mark Wahlberg because he just did a movie called like Flight Risk. I haven't seen it, but he's in a plane. He was in The Happening by M. Night Shyamalan. He's done the Transformers, but he can actually act. And I want people to know that Mark Wahlberg can act. He's a good actor. He's a good man. I don't know if he's a good man or not. He's the godfather to my children that I don't have. But yeah, the Departed, Shooter, Max Payne, Daddy's Home, Fear, Dirk Diggler, Boogie Nights, all movies I love. Also, just as a fan of Mark Wahlberg, the person, he was actually booked to fly on one of the planes that crashed into the Twin Towers on 9/11.
I'm sorry, who's booked to fly or like be on it? Like
he was booked to be on the plane. Like he wasn't like gonna fly the plane. He's like, I don't want to go in today. I got a bad feeling.
No.
Huh. He was originally planning to fly from Boston to Los Angeles, but at the last minute they decided to charter a plane to Toronto for a film festival, and from there they go to Los Angeles.
That's crazy.
It's a near brush with death, apparently, that he still dreams about today. We certainly would have tried to do something to fight. I've had probably over 50 dreams about it. I love that Mark Wahlberg has dreams about how he could have stopped 9/11. And that is the Mark Wahlberg we deserve.
Absolutely.
He could have done it. I think if there's anybody Nicolas Cage, Mark Wahlberg, and probably, who's my third? Who else?
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel definitely could have done it. I'm on a Fast and Furious podcast. Why would I not just say Vin Diesel immediately?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though is I think Mark Wahlberg in a lot of his movies, people are just like, we want him to play the guy that he thinks he is. So they just like, they don't even give him lines. They're like, Mark, just, how would you handle this situation?
Okay, Mark, here's the scene. You're going to fight a bad guy. I need you to draw inspiration from how you would have stopped 9/11.
Absolutely.
What would have you done to prevent one of America's greatest tragedies?
So what I'd punch him in the effing mouth. That's what I would have done.
I knocked their fucking teeth out. Is what I would have done. Yeah, but he was on like one.
You want a bomb? I'll show you a bomb.
He was on one of the tower planes. So that's like one of the
those big ones.
One of the main events of that day.
Yeah.
Also, he was a drug dealer as a young teenager.
I read that. I didn't feel like there was enough context. There wasn't more to read about that. I was like, I need more.
Yeah, it's just on IMDb, and I'm like, yeah, okay. That sounds good to me, that he was just a drug dealer on there for whenever.
Yeah.
I like, yeah.
Who apparently figured that out? Or did he put that on there? Because you can put your own stuff on that. He's like, this is something I want people to know.
He's like, I wasn't a drug dealer. I was,
When I'm not almost stopping 9/11, I do have a checkered past.
When I was almost stopping 9/11, I don't have a checker. He dropped out of school when he was 13, which seems too young. That seems too young. Like, I think everybody should stay in school, get a degree, learn a trade, something like that. But if you want to drop out, I think 13's a little young, unless you're going to go into the mines.
Or deal drugs.
Yeah, I've seen The Wire. I know how early you can get into the game. 13
is like what, 6th or 7th grade? Like it's pretty down there. There's a lot of formative knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was apparently a member of New Kids on the Block before they left the band to have their big break.
I forgot about that. I actually knew he had some kind of connections with the New Kids on the Block. That seems more out of place to me about Mark Wahlberg than that he was a drug dealer or almost stopped 9/11. Like, if you were to tell me two truths and a lie, I would have like fixed the New Kids on the Block as the lie.
His older brother Donnie Wahlberg actually was a member of New Kids on the Block, and as a horror movie fan, Donnie Wahlberg is in a bunch of Saw movies.
That's awesome. I've never seen a Saw movie. Never seen
Okay.
Saw.
Well, you should watch all 10 of them and let me know what you think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I binged them last year. I was between jobs. I had like a 2-week period where I was quitting one job and starting another job. So Saw 10 was coming out. So I took that week to binge all the Saw movies.
Oh, man.
Like it was a series, and it was the best thing you can do when you don't have a job.
You know, I gotta say, I mean, obviously having a job is better than not having a job. But the first few moments of not having a job are the closest thing you'll ever have to being like young and hopeful again. Like,
Oh,
when
yeah.
when you just have a few days and you're thinking like, oh, I'm gonna turn this around. My life's gonna be so much better. There's something better, and so you still have that optimism. But then you're like, but I deserve a break, and then you do something like binge all 10 Saw movies, like because you
Yeah.
have the time. That is like,
I took my optimism and then turned it into watching the Saw movies.
yeah, as well you should.
And then we should actually talk about his comedic chops.
Yeah.
We talked about him in dramatic roles, in action roles, but Mark Wahlberg's pretty funny. And you like Ted. I've only seen the first Ted. I never saw Ted 2. He was in Daddy's Home, which is funny. So my favorite Mark Wahlberg comedy is The Other Guys with Will Ferrell.
That's a good one too.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love that one. He's just so serious and funny. He's like, "You want to do a desk pop?" And he's like, "A desk pop?" And then Will Ferrell like shoots the gun. And he's like, "Don't do a desk pop. Like, what are you talking about? Shooting your gun in the in the house or whatever." So I think that's so funny. And the first Daddy's Home is really funny because it's got like John Cena coming at the end, and he's a funny dude when you write well for him. Some people may be like, they have said certain things about movies. I don't know what you want from us guys. Like, we're talking about Mark Wahlberg on a bonus episode. We're talking about I think he's a good actor. I think he's fun. He's done some shit movies. But sometimes you just got to pay the bills.
Right, and you know, I like it when you got an actor who's got a variety of different movies under their belt, and you know, sometimes it's not about like, I don't know, like maybe some of those shit movies he saw the script and he's like, this sounds like really fun. I want to do this. Like he's like, it would be cool to be Mark Wahlberg and brag about all the different parts that you've played.
Yeah, let me
And that
check
you got
here.
to finger Reese Witherspoon. I feel like that.
I don't think they actually let him finger him. I don't know if you know how movies work. I don't think they're like, if you take this role, we'll let you do things to Reese Witherspoon, Drew. It's not all real.
We'll never know. They were young. Maybe they were like, hey, we're on a
I'm
roller
sure
coaster.
I bet
What's
they
this
kissed.
like?
What's this like? He's
No
the
one else has
Daniel
ever
Day-
done this thing before.
He's the Daniel Day-Lewis of roller coaster acting.
Right. That's his niche. He was it opened doors, but I like him better in his serious or action roles than I do in his comic roles, but I do really enjoy him in the comedy as well. But I feel like if I had to pick one or the other,
Yeah.
most of the movies I've seen him in are his action roles. And I know we did a whole episode covering it, but my favorite movie that he's in is The Italian Job. Like that was, I don't, honestly, like character wise, he's probably had better characters, but like that movie was great.
I think that's all I have for Mark Wahlberg and like a deep dive. That's kind of like his career and who he's been. It's kind of all over the place, but
Yeah,
I
love it.
We're just two guys in a 2001 Mitsubishi Eclipse, just shooting the breeze,
just
just waiting to go to Race Wars.
Absolutely. Two guys in two separate virtual garages, just
just hanging out,
talking about Marky Mark.
But now there's one question you need to ask me, though, right?
Yeah, I have a very important question. And this is kind of where this is what it was all about. This is why we did this whole episode. If you were able to insert Mark Wahlberg into the Fast and Furious series, how would you do it? Where would he be? What would be your design if you could invent any kind of character, serious, comedic, good guy, bad guy? Where's Mark Wahlberg in the Fast universe? The FU, as we call it on this podcast.
The FU. I need him to come back. Do you remember Jesse from
Oh,
Fast and the Furious
absolutely.
1?
Yes, absolutely.
I need him to come back as Jesse's son.
Oh, all right.
His son, not his dad. I don't care if the ages work. His son, his unborn son. Jesse did not know his girlfriend was pregnant with Mark Wahlberg in the first movie, and now 50 years later, his son has come back. We can de-age him. And then,
of course, they did it with Lucas Black in Fast 7 in a terribly creepy way.
Oh God, I remember that when he's just like, "Well, hey, how's it going there?" And you're like, "You are a bale of hay, sir. You are welcome to Tokyo."
I like to pretend that that's only like 2 weeks after he became the Drift King, and it's just been an exhausting 2 weeks for him. It's been rough.
Man, when you become the Drift King, what you got to do is you just drifting nonstop. You can't turn normal no more. I got to throw the handbrake for everything. Even when I'm making a normal turn, I got to throw that handbrake. Let me tell you.
Absolutely. So yeah, so he'd come back as the son of Jesse. Now, would he be a protagonist or an antagonist? Would he be out for revenge, or would he save the day?
He's out for revenge. Because he blames Dom and the family for letting his dad get killed and not protecting him.
Yeah, absolutely. And then by the end of the episode, they become friends in the truly annoying Fast and Furious. I think if I were to insert him into the series. I already have the perfect ending for the movie, so I feel like or the series. So I'd insert him. Also, so the perfect ending is and it does start off a little sad, but there's a few things that Fast and Furious has never done, and one of them is make death permanent. So the starting of the last movie is a lot of the characters dying.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, everyone except for Dominic Toretto and Ludacris. Those are the two that stay. Because you need someone to interact with Vin Diesel. So I like Ludacris, so we'll keep him. And then the way the movie progresses is they need a new crew, and so that's when all the different Vin Diesel characters from other universes, Groot, Chronicles of Riddick, the Pacifier, they all show up to fight. And seeing, and I mean this is the end of the series. They've done literally everything else. They've included time travel. They've included Teletubbies. Nothing's off the table. And
Perfect.
So in the final battle, the bad guys got to get even. So they bring in some other characters, and I feel like Mark Wahlberg and a bunch of Transformers are going to come out, and Vin Diesel is going to get in fist fights with all of them and win.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So Cade Yeager. So Cade Yeager versus Vin Diesel versus Dom Toretto.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
I feel like they need to include something about I don't know how they would do it, but that minor line coming back in, well, he's got a card, so
he's like, well, listen, I don't know what you do with your family, but my family, 18's the age of consent.
You don't need consent when you got family. I don't know. That's the opposite of.
And the next one set in Alabama. Boom, got him. Perfect. You have a big fan base in Alabama?
Not as much as oddly Germany. We got some odd
Das Fast fans.
Yes, I have regular. I keep track of it. It's and it used to be Nashville, Memphis, Jackson were the top places, and I was like, that makes sense because we were both those are Nashville and Jackson, and a lot of people we knew were in Memphis. And Germany's crept up some random.
What up, Germany?
Yeah.
What up, Germans?
It's up. Send me some fan mail if you're the one or two or whatever German listeners that are here every week. We appreciate you, and I would love to know you more. Anyway, it was fun. What a fun detour. What a fun Mark Wahlberg experience. So
yeah, it's some. You know what? Some podcasts are nothing burgers. This was a real Wahlburger.
Perfect. I love it. So, I can't. I was gonna try to do another pun. I'm missing the mark, honestly, with that one. I'm missing. I can't think of another good pun. So,
All right, I'm gonna plug my stuff so I can get out of here because
absolutely. Thank
I got the car running, and me and Mark Wahlberg got one last job we got to do together. You can catch me over on YouTube at Gavin Loves Horror. That's my YouTube. And please check out my podcast with Brent Terhune. They're coming to get you. It's a fun podcast. If you want to support us on Patreon, you can do so. Patreon.com/They're Coming to Get You. Please check out the podcast. Drew was on our last exorcism episode. We got episodes for current last episodes we've been doing like It. We've done stuff on the Shining. We've done Halloween, a bunch of Halloweens, Friday the 13th, Scream. Basically, we got 150 episodes, like 150 episodes at this point. So if you like a horror movie, we've probably done it. Check it out. Pick one, and I think you'll have a good time.
Yeah, it's a great podcast. Everyone should listen to it. We are going to have the links in all of our things. So whatever you're watching or listening to, go ahead and drop us a 5-star review and then go click on the link. Go to Gavin's podcast. Enjoy it, love it, and drop them a 5-star review too. And seriously, thank you so much for being on this episode. We will get you on it. We'll do another episode sometime.
Okay,
maybe we'll fly you in, let you do a real in-person interview with
you only live
CJ.
2 hours away. I can drive down at some point.
I wanted to make it sound like we were cooler than that, but you're right.
I get it.
You just drive down. Maybe do some comedy while you're here, or
Sure.
just come for the podcast. I think that's the most reasonable thing you could possibly do.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
So, but anyway, everyone, thank you so much for being here. Enjoy your life. Go watch a Mark Wahlberg film. Let us know your favorite one and your favorite scene, your favorite Mark Wahlberg character. That was me stuttering. It sounded like I was trying to Boston accent. I stuttered
through this entire thing. I get it.
But we love you. We're glad you guys are here. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week and live your life a quarter mile at a time.